Hi and welcome to Great Expectations. Have you been to a kiddies party recently? Were you intimidated by the decor and the entertainment, the cake and those party packs? How much did they spend on those? Well, today we're going to get some perspective on the party front on our spring birthday baby show. And we have just the right people for the job. They're mums Nikki Bush and Yudhika Sujanani. Nikki is a parenting expert who presents workshops on this very topic and more. And Yudhika is a chef and writer. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for the toys and the cake. And I just want to say thank you to Lebo for not being here today so I can do this lovely show and eat cake. Now, Nikki, we'll talk about the parties that we're used to as kids, and I think we all go way back when. We were used to some cake, balloons, some coloured cold drinks on the table to make the parties pretty, running around with our friends. How have things changed? Will that cut it these days for a kiddies party in 2012?
I think we need to understand that this generation of children is the most entertained generation ever. Mm-hmm. They have been stimulated, overstimulated from the time they were born. And so they have this expectation. They arrive at a party and they say, non-verbally, entertain me. And where's the party pack? So we just need to be aware of this generation. By the same token, it doesn't mean to say that simple doesn't cut it anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's where parents need to draw the line. Simple and fun and maintain the human factor. And kids actually do enjoy simple fun. I have had children come to birthday parties, and I have to say I'm the queen of home-based birthday parties. Yes. And they arrive, and they're possibly children who have come from a home where the computer center has 3 screens and 4 keyboards, and
they just want
they've
to play
got everything
sand.
that opens and shuts. And those are the kids who come to me at the end of a simple but fun birthday party, and they say, Nikki, this was the best fun I've ever had.
Wonderful. Well, the best fun, but what's the most outrageous party you've ever been to or you know about?
There are some unbelievable stories out there at the moment.
Tell us yours.
Where parents have spent 150,000 on a party. It's a local country club. You've got 4 kinds of entertainment going. You've got everything for children to eat, and their parents, of course. And then there was another one that cost about 30,000 rand. Every child was given some kind of an iPod shuffle as the take-home party pack. The parents had the sumptuous feast, and at the end of the party there was then a cocktail party for the parents on the upper deck of the house.
Oh, where were the kids?
The kids were
passed out.
Obviously.
Okay.
And then in addition, they all got, there was another one where they all got a South African wig, and the whole party theme, I think it was Soccer World Cup, where the whole thing was decked out professionally for the kids. Not only that, but the take home, in addition to the wig, was a leather soccer ball.
No way.
So,
that's hard,
big money.
That's hard to beat, yeah.
And buying it all in, and I'm not saying you shouldn't at times buy it all in or take the kids off-site. There definitely are times. Sometimes we have to be rational about
Well, speaking
things,
of rational, how do we get rid of all the hype around a kiddie's birthday party? And remember what the day is about and who the day is about.
Well, the day really is about your child. By the same token, a very young child can get overly excited, hyped up, and be an absolute nightmare. So when they're very young, sort of 1 to 3, you almost play it down. This is another day in Africa. This is just a normal day. And then the party kind of evolves. They know there are balloons and there's cakes going on, but we don't actually have to get too joie about the whole thing.
All of that.
But come 4 or 5, your children are old enough to get involved in creating things for the party.
And we are going to talk more about the different age groups.
And deciding and saying what they want. You know, you can say to a 4-year-old, what kind of party would you like? If it's a little boy, would you like dinosaurs or would you like cowboys?
And you can talk about it,
you know,
and plan it.
And they've actually had enough life experience to choose.
Now, you were talking about all these gadgets and gadgets in the party packs, and you've come up with a very term, a very weird term, party packitis.
Yes.
Have I got it right? Have I said it right?
It's an inflammatory disease that affects this generation of materialistic children. And those are the kids who arrive and from the beginning, they're looking for the party pack.
That's the attraction,
And they're the children who, when you give them a lollipop and a balloon, when they leave, they look at you and they go, is that all?
Where's the rest?
Where's the rest?
But, is there a brave mum out there? Who is the brave mum who is not going to do the party pack and overdo the party pack?
Well, what I'm going to show you as we go through the show is that there are ways and means of getting beyond that party pack artist by creating the party pack as part of the party. So through the activities at the party, the children make things that then get popped into a little cellophane packet, okay, and you keep some ribbon handy, and as they finish their little projects or their crafts, etc., they get popped in a packet, a little bit of ribbon, and then they take home.
You work for your party pack, and you
and
appreciate it a bit more.
This was a party I did for my son, actually. I found this in the archives, a treasure collection checklist, where they actually ran through the garden looking for 4 items. There was a bath treasure, a sweet treasure, a boat treasure, and a food treasure. They had to find those treasures, bring them to me, and then we ticked off what they found, so nobody was taking 2 of anything. And then that was put aside with their name on it, okay, and it was nice and fat. And those were at the door with their names in black pen, and they collected them as they left, and they were so proud of the party pack they created. And that certainly didn't, cost a fortune.
Didn't dent the pocket a lot.
It kept them going for half an hour of the party.
Great. Yudhika, you do a lot of kiddies parties. You've got 3, if I remember, of your own, right? What are the different trends you've noticed when it comes to birthday parties over the years?
I just think that they've just got bigger, and I also had those very, very big birthday parties, and then I think now looking back, why did I do that? Almost creates an expectation. But they've been more themes coming into it now. Before it was, like you say, just the balloons and the cake and family and friends. Now it's just everything is themed. There are party packs, there are balloons that match, the serviettes match, and it's not the color-coded ones you find.
Have you noticed cultural
store.
differences though in the different parties?
Yes, I have. I have
Tell
noticed.
us about that, yeah.
I think in an Indian home, parties, a first birthday is like almost like a wedding.
The whole world is
ceremony.
there.
Yes, it's like my first kid.
Yes.
We had a band, an Indian band, and all kinds of things.
Well, I think it's it's I think common in a lot of black families as well.
Yes, it is.
Just,
it is.
It's
And
on that note, yeah.
And I've been to some kiddies parties where it's just quite simple and plain and so enjoyable, where it really is about children getting together and having a fab time rather
Well, let's talk more about children getting together and having a fab time and eating the things that they like. Now, tell us more about just, the secret to getting the food right for a kiddies party.
Okay, the secret, I think, is to not put the cakes out too early. Okay,
You have
so I've had
fingers in there.
I've learnt. I've made a few mistakes along the way, and now I say protein first. So you can have some savouries first, and I tend to hide the actual sugar table away for later. And it's fun food, it's things that kiddies, a humble drumstick. I don't know a single child, except a vegetarian perhaps, who doesn't really like tucking into a drumstick, and it kind of takes the edge off. So you're not really going to go and grab cupcakes and size things down. I think people think that cupcakes need to be larger than life, and they just need to be little, because it's like me. What a cupcake, a normal
because
American
they just want the
size.
icing. They don't want the cake underneath. Hey?
No,
You're
they don't.
spending
They
lots and
just
lots
chuck it
of
in the
these.
garden. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got all these little secrets for you and more coming up. Little one's first birthday is such a special affair, though more for mummy and daddy than the toddler, as most of us know. Lots of advice on that one after the break. But right now, it's time for our Pampers Monday Minute, and we'll hear how to get baby to sleep after their exhausting party.
Hi mums, only a third of babies sleep like babies. The rest need a little help. Over the next few Mondays, I'm going to share some of my top sleep secrets with you. Number 1 is EQ. Use your emotional intelligence and instincts to understand your baby better at bedtime. A baby's sleep can be affected by many factors: illness, teething, a bad dream. If your baby can sense you understand how they feel, they relax and sleep better. Sleep tip number 2, never keep a tired baby awake. Mums will often say that if they let their baby nap in the afternoon, they don't settle at night. The trick is to only allow a slightly shorter sleep. And your third sleep tip this morning, say no to TV, at least just before bedtime. It can cause nightmares or overstimulate the brain. More sleep tips next week, mums. Until then, sweet dreams.
Well, those Pampers babies do look like little angels, don't they? Now, you send in your top party tips or your queries now. We're here to help you and take some ideas from you as well. Hi, you're with us on Great Expectations. Now, birthday number 1 is a big occasion for mum and dad, but little one can't handle too much celebration without melting down. I know all about it. So how do you have a fabulous first birthday party for everyone involved? Nikki and Yudhika are going to share their secrets with us now. And Nikki, now the first birthday tends to be more for the parents than the child, as we all know, and for the grandparents as well. So just tell us why we actually do this to ourselves and what are the rules about the first birthday?
Well, basically, when your child turns a year old, they're not into socializing with other children. When you have other babies and toddlers around, they play independently. And that's why that first birthday party is a bit of a non-event for the children.
Yes.
It really is about creating a memory, celebrating a milestone, and so the adults get together and have a wonderful
Spend so
party.
much on it.
The basic rules, try and plan the party time after the nap.
Which is
After
after
they've
midday
had
usually?
their morning nap or their afternoon nap. I always say with babies, try and keep them in routine. If they had a morning nap and you had it over lunchtime, they'd be eating their lunch.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that goes, keep in routine, and then your baby is generally fine. It's when you change everything that they feel it and they play up. And you really want your baby to be as happy as possible so that you can enjoy the party.
How long should this birthday party last?
You know, it's probably 2 hours at most. The baby is not going to concentrate for 2 hours and be there for 2 hours. Baby might be there for an hour and maybe be put down for a nap or taken
Yes.
for a walk or something like that. And keep the activities very simple. So for me, a basic ball pond is a ball pond is a sensory experience where the children, with the help from their parents,
Yes.
sit in the ball pond playing with the balls.
We have a picture of a ball pond, so you can have a look at what a ball pond actually
So, you know,
looks
a
like.
jumping castle at this point is almost irrelevant because most of them can't balance
No, they
and jump.
can't.
They can hold on to their parents and be jumped, but they will spend more time in the ball pond putting in, taking out and throwing the balls.
Now, who do you invite to this? Because, you know, some people do have the jumping castle for the older kids
Well,
and cousins
that's the
and all
thing.
of that.
You know, you have to decide who is coming and what's the age range. So if you've got all the cousins coming and you've got the 5-year-olds and the 6-year-olds, and
The
you might
20-year-olds.
then need a jumping castle for the older children to keep them busy. But at this point, you don't have to go crazy with games and activities. You can really have a lovely table of food for the adults, a few goodies for the children. And sometimes what mums do to save time is they pack a box for each child.
That's nice.
So there'll be a juice and there'll be some kind of soft chippies, something sweet, something, you know, chicken drumsticks you were mentioning earlier, you know, and it's all packed in there so that you don't have to worry about the kiddies. You can focus on the adults.
Well, let's talk about the adults, Simone. And Yudhika, what would we provide for the adults? Because, I mean, we know they've got to run after their little ones as well. You've got to remember that.
I always think that for kiddies' parties, you know, I love those sticky wings and sticky drumsticks and ribs and all of
Look
that.
lovely
But I
on
think-
that lovely white dress, the frilly
Yes,
ones.
yes.
Yes.
I don't think your furniture and your soft furnishings look really good after that, so stay away from the sticky stuff.
Right.
I think, again, people at parties, I think lots of little things. I think Indian parties tend to be a bit of a sit-down, big biryani.
Trestles.
Yes. So I think to keep it social and you want to catch up with people, food on the move is always a good theme,
Yes.
where you have little things, even little
Easy, convenient.
bowls. Previously I've done tiny little bowls of macaroni and cheese, and
that's a nice idea.
children connect with little wooden spoons and forks, and they can actually tuck into that, and it's quite interesting to watch them do
Lovely
that.
ideas, lovely ideas.
So simple stuff on the move, little portions
And not
of
too
things.
much mess as well, not too
Yes.
much mess. Now, agonizing over that first birthday gift, Nikki, I've done it myself. Let's talk about what we can give a 1-year-old.
Well, I've got a variety of gifts here, and I've chosen a sort of broad range of prices, so there's something for everybody.
Very interesting.
But maybe we can start off with this one here, which is a magnetic hide and seek board. You see, children are always looking for things. They
Yes.
love things that are hiding. So here's a little
Surprises.
cow,
Yes.
and if you note, there's also colour matching. And the cow lives in the barn.
Yes.
So here we've got cookies. We've got cookies that live in the cookie
jar.
jar, yellow in the cookie jar, the dog in the kennel, etc. And this is lovely because by the time they reach 2, so this is what we're doing, just let's see what's inside for the littlies. Once they reach 2, we can start doing
can
the
move
colour
on to the
matching,
next stage.
and we can then muddle up everything.
It's
and
a gift that lasts a little longer
we
than
can put the dog in the
next year.
oven, and we can put the, I think it's
the dog in the
it's a
oven.
roast chicken or
Let's
something.
put
We
the
can
dog in the
we can
oven.
put that in the kennel, and then they can do problem solving and sort them all
And
out.
how much should you be spending on a gift for a 1-year-old?
Well, Well, it really depends. If we're talking parents buying for their own children, some parents will spend 250 Rand on their own child, some will spend 1,000 on their own child. It's all relative. That, for example, is 150 Rand. This one here is about 250
What is that
Rand.
now? That's
This
very
is a
interesting.
latches board. So this is all about opening and closing. So now we're opening.
all different types of locks
And it's all
and
fine motor
latches.
coordination, and children love to, I mean, my child loved keys. We gave him, he's the engineer.
all love keys, eh?
Yes,
They
they
all
all
seem
love
to love
keys. So
keys.
what's behind that?
I
That's
could
their
play with
froggy.
that for hours.
So this is fascination, and it's fine motor coordination.
And the parents will love it.
They will.
Now, I'm a big fan of putting money away for your kids and buying them just little gifts, nothing too extravagant. Is that a good idea?
It's a fantastic discipline to get into, to put money away for a child at every birthday, or if you're doing monthly, debit orders, that sort of thing, because at some stage you're going to need that money for your child.
But they do like to unwrap things,
They
so
and
more
of
for
course
one
they
and
love that.
upwards.
They love that wrapping and the unwrapping
One
more than
going
the
into
actual
two.
product at this stage. This is actually for the bath. Those are suckers that sit on the side of the bath. This is called an octobubble. It blows bubbles. So you put bubble mixture in here, and when they press these little
one of
buttons,
those.
they play tunes. It's about shape. It's about colour, and it's blowing
That
bubbles
looks
all
like
the
it's
time.
expensive,
so
though.
it's fascination. This is an expensive toy. It's 460 Rand. But I have to
Makes
tell you,
bath
my
time
nephew's
easier.
18 months old, and this is his absolute favourite.
Now, that's for about
at the
a
moment.
1-year-old? And then moving up from there?
Well, even for a child who's 8 months old, they love
time.
the bubbles.
I'd love that in my
Yes.
bathtub.
And then this one is a little lap pup, and it's kind of like a little laptop. And here we have shapes, green square, yellow star.
Would this be for a 1 or 2-year-old?
This would go from 1 to 2.
From 1 to 2, so
and
you're
lovely
going
and portable, so it can go with you in the car.
Oh, very nice.
So nice and small. Then if you could pass me the little picnic basket.
Is this what it is, a picnic
Yes, this is a picnic basket. Oh dear, it's still talking to us. Right, okay. So children love the auditory stimulation
lovely.
as well as the fine motor. This one, sweet little picnic basket. It talks, it sings, it does shape, it does colour.
And
So
you know
this-
how those parents look at you when you're bringing the noisy things in, and they're
Yes.
like, we'll get you back when you have your
Yes.
child.
So this is all fine motor coordination, problem solving.
looks
It
economical.
talks to
This
the
looks like
child.
something-
249 Rand. It comes with that little picnic blanket over
Oh,
there,
there's the
where you
blanket.
can also match these little shapes. So you can match your shapes on top of the picnic blanket as
wonderful.
well, and then it all goes inside. So numbers, shapes, colours. And then the last one
is this
there
here?
is Roll and Play. And Roll and Play comes with a whole box of colour-coded cards. So this is a giant dice. So if we were rolling it on the floor, that's orange. And then with Littley, so the one sort of 1 to 18 month, 1 to 2-year-old, find match.
Wonderful,
Okay. But on the
wonderful.
other side, we've got give a hug, wave goodbye. So it's actions, find something yellow, squeak like a mouse, giggle and laugh.
And it's not difficult
touch
for mom
your
to figure out
toes.
how to use these.
Very easy, 249 Rand, highly educational, will last right the way through till you're about 3 years.
We're going to have to put
of
these on
age.
hold for a little
Fine.
while, and then we will have a look at these a little later when we have some time. So stay with us after the break. We move on up to birthday number 3, and you can keep dialing and typing if you have a question to ask or a comment to add. I'm going to play with these toys now. They're very fascinating. We'll be back. I love this one. Welcome back. Today is the Spring Birthday Baby Show on Great Expectations. As a fully fledged toddler, when your little one turns 3, she has probably made a couple of little friends, and she's definitely got an opinion on how she wants things. Don't I know it? Well, not until she gets married will she be so determined to have a particular theme or color or guest list. But you'll have to rein things in, or else you will be set for disaster. I learned that this year. Now, Mum and Chef Yudhika Sujanani, our parenting pro Nikki Bush, are here to impart their well-earned advice. And don't forget, you can also be part of our chat today. And I've got a 3-year-old. I went through it this year. We decided on a theme. It was going to be Mickey Mouse. And then the day before her birthday, she said, Mum, where's my Dora cake? So it was, yes. So tell us about the 3-year-old, Nikki. By age 3, like we say, you know, they have their own ideas about how they want their birthdays. They have demands. How do we do this 3-year-old's birthday?
Well, firstly, I think we need to say that at 3, they're not so into boy or girl. You can have a general theme, although if you were having take-home gifts, you would make sure they were gender appropriate, or that they could be either or. They're starting to be more active in terms of problem solving and playing games, although they're not yet competitive. So they want activities. They're very into crafts, so making things, whether it's things to eat or things to play with. So we can, a 3-year-old is generally at preschool.
Yes.
So that party, if you were doing a party at home, for example, would consist of what I call activity rings. They have activity rings at preschool, and they're very comfortable with that kind of routine. So when we say keep the hype down, they go from one activity to another. It doesn't necessarily have to be done in order at the age of 3.
Right.
So we could have 4 tables out or 4 activities, and as they feel like it, they can go, or mum can take them to each thing. And then I would say each thing they're making something, creating something, and they can take that home with them as well.
Oh, that'll be great. That's wonderful. Now, who do you invite to this? Like you say, a lot of them are at school, so do you invite the same friends home? Because they will have something at school as well?
Yes, there will be a party ring at school where we'll have a cake and everyone will sing, and it's very cute, and you must be there and take photographs. But at this point, the etiquette is that you invite everybody in the class, generally.
Everyone, yes.
And I think there's a good reason for this. As a mum, you need to be creating your support network.
Yes.
And the only way to create a support network that you will call on, I promise you at some point, is to socialize with people, to get to know them. You also want to get to know people who are going to invite your child round to their house, so that you get comfortable with the people who are doing the inviting.
Yes.
And there's only one way to do that, and that is to actually be together, have them over. So this is an ideal opportunity to have a big tea party where you can get to mix.
And you don't necessarily need the family there, is it?
I tend to do both at once, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but if you've got a very big family, it might be a situation where you have the family on the real birthday and you have the birthday party on it, at another point in time. But I would say, yes, you invite the whole class at this point, plus any extra family friends. Well, so yes, you are into maybe having 18 children plus a few family friends, maybe 20, 25 kids. It is a big ask.
Yes.
You might want to go off-site for this, I don't know.
But
if you're brave enough, you might have it at home. And it depends, and those things are all dependent on size of home. Do you have a garden? A lot of people are downsizing today, and it makes no sense to have it at home unless there's a, some kind of a clubhouse on the property.
And
they
you
need
will
to
have
move.
clean up.
Understand they need to move, and they're very sensory.
Well, speaking of that, let's go through more activities and gifts for a 3-year-old now.
Right, so gifts for a 3-year-old. What we've got here, a stunning little game called Little Observation. Big chunky dice. You throw the dice, and then you have to find the bug that has purple and red. Ooh. So here we find the bug.
Lovely.
We also have corresponding pictures as well. So if you find your corresponding bug, you get to win the matching piece. So a stunning, very unusual little game. At
And
the
something
age of
like
3,
this would cost you what?
This is about 250. No, it's about 200. At the age of 3, they're doing colour matching, shape matching, and fine motor for reading and writing. Then we've got something like this. These are window crayons, absolutely
Those look a
divine.
bit cheaper.
These are 70 Rand for drawing on windows,
And they wash
patio
off.
doors. This could be an activity
They
at
wash
a
off?
party. Just wipe clean. Absolutely awesome. They glide on absolutely beautifully.
Lovely.
Then we have over here a little memory game where we're looking for, I think we've got them out here already, matching pairs.
All right.
And then if a 4 or 5-year-old was given this, we can play the memory game with the upside down cards.
Okay, so
they
these will
have
be
to
face up
remember
3-year-olds.
where they are. And then over there, we've got...
That's for a boy, I'm assuming.
For a boy, this is a drill.
Nothing wrong with a girl learning
It's
some
a
of
whole
those.
action drill kit and it actually does have screws and things that come with it as well. And then this one. Now this looks like it's all broken up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now,
It needs some fixing.
yeah, what you do is you just pull it like, I've got to remember how to do this.
Best you
There we
learn.
go, right, it's fixed. Now the minute you send this careering into the wall, it breaks.
Oh, we need insurance.
Called a crashing
Right.
big rig. Now a little boy finds that absolutely irresistible.
So do I must admit. Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, that's a lovely idea. I want to chat about the food now, Yudhika. This lovely spread you have here. Now, what here would be appropriate for a 3-year-old's party?
Oh, I think just about everything, really. I love the idea of having just a bit of fruit.
Yes, I'm sure the mums would appreciate
whether
that
it's
as well.
Pineapple, little pieces of pineapple, some strawberries, and it just also takes that edge off, to have
colour.
even a little bowl of chocolate, maybe 55% dark chocolate, and dunk it, just to encourage that healthy eating at a party. Go very, very easy on the icing, not these thick layers of icing on the cupcakes.
are
As you
cute
can see,
with that.
they're just really done with a very, very thin layer.
Are those just tiny cupcakes?
Just tiny cupcakes,
Bite-sized
yes.
ones?
Yes, because this cupcake for a 3-year-old is probably maybe that cake
one is to us,
to me. Yes, so
the
it's
tummies are
just
like that little.
Yes, and then snack foods, sausage rolls, the homemade ones. Remove that nasty skin around the sausage roll, the sausages when you make these rolls, and they're just lovely to eat. And I don't think and stuff to dunk in. They love to dunk.
They love to dunk. I know.
Drumsticks that I love at parties. Also, like I said, no sticky marinades and stuff. Sausages, even the veggie ones, they are really really a hit. So those are the savoury options that you can go for. But even nachos and cheesy bites and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, little pots of food, little plastic tubs with macaroni, even cottage pie, even in a tiny little plastic tub with a little spoon, just encourages that eating.
I think you'd be surprised. Lots of 3-year-olds don't like a lot of sweet things. My 3-year-old doesn't like a lot of sweet stuff, so they like these, and they love olives and things like that, which I see you have there. Yes. And I think mums would want to know a little bit more about more activities to do at the party.
Okay.
And the things like the crayon party, I think, which we have a picture of.
Yes, I love a crayon party. We did
what are we looking at there? You've got a little pic there.
Everybody has crayons at home. Everybody's got paint at home. And what you need to do is have 3 or 4 activities where, and I showed you those window crayons.
Yes.
So one of the activities could be drawing on a big window.
And windows you have at home. Yes, you do.
You've got those. Then to get hold of butcher's paper or unprinted news roll.
Huge ones.
Okay, newsprint,
right.
yeah. And you get hold of that, and you have big pieces down the patio, or you know, if you've got a swimming pool on the paving, obviously your pool is netted, but
that's what we're looking there.
Yes,
outlines
there we
of
go.
people.
That is drawing shadows. So you get bigger children or adults to draw
not
around the children. Not a murder scene, no. And then the kids have got paint or crayons, and they can colour in their own shadows. Then what you do is you roll that up, you take a ribbon, you tie it, and make sure you've put the child's name on it. That's part of the party pack.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then on that newsprint that's down, they can just do anything they like.
Wonderful.
You don't. And then the most fun thing is bring your old broken crayons to the party, and we create rainbow crayons. So you get muffin tins, and you break up little pieces of different coloured crayons.
Bake them.
And you bake them at 200 degrees Celsius. That's now in the party pack to take home. Now the ones that I made were actually rainbow coloured. So you had purple and green and yellow all in one, and then you could take that home and use them at home.
Lovely idea. So it's definitely easier to take the party venue approach, but if you have lots of willing helpers, a do-it-yourself party has so many benefits. More on that one coming up next. And remember, we want to hear from you too. Share your ideas with us. Hi again on Great Expectations. Today we are talking about kiddies parties on our spring birthday baby show. If you have lots of time on your hands or a team of willing helpers, well, a do-it-yourself party can be a real hit. Let's find out how with pro party planners Nikki and Yudhika. And I tell you, this food is not doing me any good today, Yudhika. So,
sorry.
Look, you can do this. You do this. You're great at it. You're a professional chef, and you get stuff done in the kitchen. But for us ordinary mums, tell us some of the secrets to getting it right in the kitchen for a party.
Well, first of all, there are no ordinary mums, okay? So even I'm so hectic and I really freak out. Even the day before I have a party, I'm still panicking. The thing is, the first thing you need to understand is there's no point being a martyr, okay? You're going to need help.
Yes.
Right? And you can't do everything on your own, so you're going to have to ask people to help you out. It could be call a friend, call a relative, or even pop around to your local store and see what they can do for you. Like, I just think, get someone to do the chicken and marinate that for you. And even if you have to give them a recipe and say to them, please, here's the stuff, could you please just assist me and sort that out for me?
Call on Granny. They love to help at
yes,
this time.
they love to do
make
that.
The samosas for you.
And yeah, stuff like frying and whatever. Train your helper at home even to do that, to garnish your stuff. So you're not in the kitchen because there's so many kids and stuff running around. You actually need to be a little more watchful at that time.
So how much prep can you do in advance? How many days in advance can you start, and what can you do before?
The great thing now about baking is that there's so many fantastic products out there where you can actually even make a sponge cake, and certain like a Victorian sponge, you can actually freeze them for up to 3 months. Cupcakes, okay. I'm a bit fanatical about making stuff and eating it almost immediately. Yeah. But yes, there are people who are making their own cupcakes as wedding cakes and freezing them up to 3 months in advance. You just pop them out and you ice them the day before, and
nobody would be the wiser.
Nobody would be the wiser.
Well, sticking with the homemade party, Nikki, give us some tips on this. A lot of mums like to have it at home,
Yeah, so if you're going to have it at home, having help is just really important, and farming things out. So things like, make sure you give somebody the job of taking photographs. You are not going to have the time to take photographs. Make sure you give somebody the job of getting, of putting the knife and the candles out with the birthday cake, because you don't leave those out in case children pick them up. And matches, of course, because there's nothing like running around looking for matches when you need them. And then know exactly what it is you're going to do. When I say run an activity party, if you've got 4 activity stations, ask your friends, mum number 1, will you look after that table? Mum number 2, sister number 1 and sister number 2, and they man those tables. You are not running around managing all 4 activities. And at this stage, between sort of 3 and 4, the mums will move not the mums looking after the tables, but the mothers of the children will move with the children from table to table, helping them with what they're doing.
And let's look at some themes. I mean, do you ask your child what they want, or do you just do it and decide on a theme? How do you decide?
You get a feel for your child. You know, some children, it matters a lot that they have a say. Some children, it really doesn't. But then add in the traditional activities, like a pass the parcel, for example, musical bumps, musical chairs, and then pin the tail on the donkey. If it's a dinosaur, it's pin the tail on the dinosaur. If it's a princess party, it's pin the crown on the princess.
Right.
So we adapt and adopt. And then things like, over and under, when you've got kids in a line, make them physically active. Children love to move. If it's a dinosaur party, the dinosaur egg is a rugby ball. Over, under, over, under.
Yes.
And it might be a little girl's tea party.
Yes.
Then that you might have a bucket of water and little tiny teacups, and they have to run backwards and forwards, filling that
that's a nice
teacup,
idea.
and then pouring it into a teapot.
Wonderful.
First team to fill the teapot with water is the winning team. So come 4 or 5 years of age, we can start introducing that element of competition as well.
Can I tell you where the agonizing begins? At the invitations for me. How do you do these? Do you get the proper, do you send out the paper, do you send an email, SMS, I don't know, what do you do?
The crafty mum who's got a lot of time will make her own and deliver them all to school.
Slideshows.
Put them into the pigeonholes at school and it's done. I think what we're seeing more and more is
we've got some pictures of some invitations.
Take your PC, get into PowerPoint, do some designs. You can have great fun. You can download so much off the internet, and then you email those through to the mums, because you know they'll get them. Number 1, they won't get
Do not
lost.
send naked pictures of your children,
definitely
the bathtub
not.
pictures. Don't do that.
And then, of course, the big trend is to SMS.
SMS.
Particularly as your kids get older and you don't invite the whole class. If you SMS, then nobody gets hurt. If you put them in the pigeonholes and some kids don't get, then they feel very, very hurt.
Okay, so when you have to pick and choose the friends.
Definitely.
All right, and the themes for the parties, just to give us more details about that.
So common themes. If you're going to have boys and girls, you might have prince and princess together. You might have
Barbie and Ken.
You can have mermaids. If you have a 3 or 4 year old is not hysterical. Say you've got 2 little girls coming to a boys' party. They won't be hysterical that it's a construction party. They really won't be. The fact that everyone's running around with hard hats, they've got one too. You know, dinosaurs are big. And then you've mentioned a few of the brand names.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's on TV is generally, a character that's on TV is a potential party
what
theme.
they're watching at that point.
Absolutely.
So that's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, very, very nice. And how does mum ensure that she enjoys this day? Because I found you don't get to enjoy your child's birthday.
More than anything, it's being organised and having appointed people to take responsibility for various parts of the party, whether it's helping you cook, bake, lay out, get people to come an hour ahead, especially if you have family, beg, borrow and steal, and get them to come early to help you set up so that things are arranged. And you know what? As Yudhika said, there's always stuff that's last minute. There will be stuff that's last minute, and make sure you've got extra hands that you can call. And even just, you've got say a teacher friend. She can tell the kids a story. Like I did a Hungry Caterpillar party
that's
once.
a good idea.
And she had all the kids sitting around her for 20 minutes telling the story with a big book, very dramatic. I didn't have to do that. I asked somebody to do it for me so that I could run around doing other things or just watch.
Very nice, very, very nice. Well, you see, don't sweat the small stuff. You can always make a plan. After the break, the pièce de résistance, the birthday cake. And you don't have to be a chef to do something amazing, as you see here. So stay with us. We'll tell you some secrets. Welcome back. Today on Great Expectations, we've been getting some top tips on children's birthday parties. And if you do nothing else, you've got to have a birthday cake for your little one and the adults. And you don't need to be a chef or have loads of money to do that, believe it or not. Parenting pro Nikki Bush and chef Yudhika Sujanani have such lovely ideas. So let's get going with some background to the birthday cake first. Now, Nikki, why do we have to have a cake at a birthday? Where did this come from?
Oh, it started with the Roman times. They used to make single layer cakes, very plain. And then the Greeks decided that candles were important. They put candles on a cake and they used to take the cakes into the temple. And by doing that, they felt that their prayers would be sent to the gods with the smoke.
Oh.
And I think actually that's probably the closest to the reason why I think we have candles is we have a wish. So you get your children, you teach them how to create a wish, and then I think the wish goes up in smoke.
Wonderful. And the actual happy birthday song and the words to that?
Well, there's a story behind this. The Hill sisters, they were two sisters who were preschool teachers, created a song for kindergartens, and it was in the 1930s. And it actually wasn't about birthdays, but then somebody put birthday words to the tune, and there's been a whole royalty debate over this over the years.
Over the birthday songs?
Yes, and I read somewhere that the birthday song eventually got royalty rights and it earned something like $2 million a year, which means that most of us are not paying royalties because I think everybody sings happy birthday.
Imagine how rich they'd be.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. Okay, so the Hill sisters are responsible for the birthday, and we're still fighting over the royalties. Now, the birthday cake, which is my favorite part of any party. If Yudhika, like you, I mean, not everyone can bake like you, but if you can't bake and if you don't have an oven, what are your suggestions to a mum who wants to have the best birthday cake for her kiddie?
You can actually buy little trifle sponges even and Madeira cakes, and you can actually construct cakes. I really don't like icing and piping icing. It's not, I've got very warm hands, and then I find that the piping, the icing actually melts in my hands, so I have a problem with that. If you notice the cakes I make, they always seem to be have that homemade look about them. It's because if I hold a piping bag, that icing's just going to ooze out of there.
Okay, so she's not going to ice the cake for us.
So I'm not going to ice cake for you. But yes, you can construct things. You can make triangles.
Very interesting what you've done, some novel ideas.
You can see here, I didn't make those gingerbread men, but if you pop into a few bakeries, you always find gingerbread men. You can stick them onto the sides of the cake, so you don't always have to have a perfect, you don't have a perfect smooth icing around the cake. This is done with cream cheese.
Is that a ginger cake with gingerbread men
no,
around
I think
them?
kiddies and ginger might not be, but they like gingerbread men. I think it's the look of a gingerbread
and
man
they know
or
the
woman.
Stories by then.
Yes, I think it just overpowers the taste.
And this can go up to about, what, 5-year-old would love a cake like
yes.
this?
This is a cake inspired by my little boy. He just loves bugs.
And what you've got behind it, that's caught my attention.
The
they
cake
look like lollipops.
These are cake pops. They are the rage at the moment, and this is something that mums can do. So you actually use.
We're going to make some.
Yes, we're actually going to use leftover cake or any brownie or fudge mixture that you've got. The leftover icing. After I've iced that cake over there, I had a bowl of chocolate buttercream icing here, and you actually use a handheld beater and you beat it up, and you play around with it. You might need to add some icing sugar. I've used brownie mix.
Oh, there's a lovely picture there. That's made out of cake pops. Before we carry on, just tell us here.
That's cake pops. And you can pick up a ready mix, and all you need to do with a ready mix is just add milk and pop it into the oven. Okay, so you're gonna.
So you're not agonizing over the filling of this.
Yes,
That's very
and
easy
you
to
can
do.
add some, I added Cocoa Pops to this. You can add some of these little silver balls to this, and you're just going to mold those into little shape, little round. And you can get a cake pop mold, something like that, right? And you're going to freeze these until they're nice and hard. Then I've frozen these already. And you take a little stick or a lollipop stick and you put that in there. So you've got your little pop, and there you go. You melt chocolate, should be about 30, this is 55% dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, right.
Way better for you than the other milk chocolate.
I think the mums and dads are going to love this more than the kiddies.
I think, Yudhika, that this is a lovely activity for the kids to do
Yes,
as well. So
absolutely.
they can do the party child can help you do this, which is fantastic.
Yes,
it's like Play-Doh.
Oh,
yes,
wonderful.
it is. The colder, the more frozen the cake pop mix is the quicker the
so
chocolate
you freeze
sets.
them and then you do the chocolate
freeze
over
those.
them in
These
this
have
little
been
tray.
out of the fridge, and then you get these lovely sprinkles like so, and you can actually do this over your little tub here with your cake pop mix, and then you stick that into some polystyrene.
And there you have a cake pop. Now, Nikki, this is a very lovely idea. But just say you're not able to do this. I mean, so some simpler things to do at to do with for the kid. And let's look at the screen and see what we've got there for you. That's
Yes, so
that looks complicated, but it isn't.
That was one of the activities where we took just plain old square tennis biscuits, 2 different colours of icing. There were little blunt knives for all the children, and little baby licorice, all sorts. We had one example in the middle of the table so they could copy it. And then we had that stripy card, and we put the name of each child on the card, and we put that biscuit into the take-home party pack.
Oh, so they
with
get to
little
take
cellophane. Yes. That's my solution. Well, firstly, kids do love donuts. Okay. Yeah. Secondly, that's a solution for a mum whose cake either goes wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Instant cake, mountain of donuts.
I love those ideas.
Yeah.
I love those.
Or somebody who's just run out of time, or it's simple, it's easy, and then making cakes out of cupcakes.
Yes. And you stack them up.
Where you either stack them up or create, and I don't know, there we go. That's the hungry
that's
caterpillar.
Lovely. That's a lovely idea.
Cupcakes.
Yes. Oh, that's very,
so then
very
every
nice.
child takes a cupcake. You
and
don't
they're
have
not
to do the
fussing
big
over
slicing
which
it.
slice they
which
want.
Can I
want
have the one
face.
with the Smarties on,
yeah.
please?
Oh, wow. All right. Well, those are very, very nice and simple ideas. Now, let's look at a dinosaur, because you said dinosaurs are big.
Yes.
Let's look at a picture of a dinosaur cake.
Oh, well, now that's very elaborate. I don't think most mothers would be able to do that. I would say that
Yudhika,
was
you could
probably
do that.
done. That was done by
I would love
somebody
the
else.
icing.
That's very 3D, but I must tell you that my mum is the big party cake maker in our family, and every child and grandchild
Has had a
gets
cake
a
from
beautiful character cake. But she made me once an Aladdin's lamp.
Oh, wow.
And it collapsed.
Oh.
Okay, I think it was my 12th birthday party. And what we did in haste was took 2 litres of vanilla ice cream, created a dome, and then put pink and white marshmallows all over and made an igloo.
Oh, what
And
a
everybody
wonderful
loved
idea.
it.
And they loved
So,
it.
You know, sometimes you have to have plan B up your sleeve.
Definitely. Now, mums, I hope we're giving you some wonderful ideas. Let's look at some other pictures of some other goodies.
That's from the
lava.
dinosaur party. There's lava,
Molten
little
lava.
chocolate cakes, cupcakes with little dinosaurs on them.
Oh, wonderful. And I believe we have a mermaid in the house. Oh,
Oh, that was one of my mum's cakes.
Did your
Yes,
mum
we
make
had a
that?
mermaid party for
Beautiful.
one of my nieces, and that was, she does this amazing icing.
who's that?
That's
That's all
a
Bob.
Bob the Builder.
That's all
That was a
Bob.
construction party, and on the tables we had all the food in little wheelbarrows and things like that. And the kids for that party made a builder's clipboard where we got masonite cut to A4 size. They had a bit of Ponal wood glue, 2 pegs. They stuck it all, glued it all together. We gave them poster paint. They decorated
you make
their,
it sound so
and
easy.
that was the take-home
You make
party
it sound
pack.
so easy. And I can't believe we're almost at the end of this. So I need a quick tip from each of you. Your top tip in a nutshell for mums to get through this party.
Lists. Write everything down on a list and tick it as you go. And in fact, there's a party planning checklist that there's a link on
we'll
your
have it on our
Facebook
Facebook
site.
page, yes.
And you
Yes.
will get my party planning checklist, and that takes you from week 4. I don't think I've ever planned a party more than 3 weeks ahead, but 4 weeks is really a good idea.
Wonderful. All right.
Yeah. So
Okay. And then for the kitchen, Yudhika.
I would also
top
say,
tips.
very importantly, I'd agree with Nikki, is a list and exactly who is going to do what. Speak to your helpers and make sure everyone at home knows exactly what they're
doing
going to do. Stick it up on the fridge, make sure everyone can see it, and just enjoy. It's important for you to enjoy that time with your loved one. Your
create
little
a memory.
kid. Yeah.
And
This is
don't
a memory.
stress too much. I think the simpler you keep it, the
Yes,
easier it is. And
absolutely.
you know what? You don't have to do everything. Oh, Yudhika and Nikki, thank you so much for these wonderful tips. This really, really was fun. Now join Lebo tomorrow when she explores the world of parenting a child with Down syndrome. Well, I'm not leaving here without a piece of birthday cake or 2 or 3. So here goes. Goodbye. And remember, you're a great mummy. Bye now.